Hello everyone, it's Lisa here to do another video. I've been doing Christmas stuff lately, so if you haven't seen my last video, here is a beautiful snowflake that I just completed. I did a little experiment with 3 different colors underneath, and this one was my favorite. So with continuing on with that, today I'm going to do one in here, and I'm going to put red on the bottom, and I'm going to put Merry Christmas on the top. So I've got a little bit of resin here that I had left over from my last project. Just, I don't know how much that is, probably an ounce to 2 ounces. Sorry, oh here, I could weigh it. I could tell you how much it is. So my scale's set to grams. So it's 59 grams. All right, and I'm going to use the Epoxy Pigment Red from Armour Art. I've used this before, I really like it. So I'm going to squeeze, I'm not sure if you can see this on the camera, but I'm just gonna squeeze 1 drop. There we go. It's kind of a sticky paste like the casting craft is. All right, so there it is. I've got my 1 drop in. I'm just going to stir that. Now the blue that I did, I only put 1 drop in as well, and it's still a little bit transparent, and I like that. So here's my red, and I'm getting the same thing. It's just, I mean, I could put in more and make it opaque, probably take 1 or 2 more drops, but I'm not going to. I want to have it a little bit transparent. So just stirring it in real good so that gets all mixed up throughout it. And then I'm going to give it a quick zap with my torch here. And I'm going to pour it in. All right. Okay, here we go. Could have probably used a little bit more, but it's okay. It's gonna be enough. I'm still trying to get used to how much resin that my molds take. So this is a 2-part project. So the first thing I do is put the red in the bottom, and then last time I waited about 2.5 hours, and then I put my star on top, or sorry, my snowflake on top. So I'm going to do the same thing with this because that worked really well. And then when I did that, then I think I left it on for about a half hour or so, and then I poured my top coat, and it seemed to work just fine. I'm going to give this a zap here. Actually, no, before I give it a zap, I'm going to go around the edges. And this, I just feel, helps to pop any bubbles that may be down there, or just gives the edge a finer look. Because don't really like that when you go to unmold something and there's a bubble or a hole from a bubble. And I know there's ways to fix that, but I'd rather not have that. So I just feel that doing that helps to eliminate any of those. Sometimes it works like a charm, other times a persistent bubble will still be in there. So now I'm just gonna torch this. Hopefully I'm getting all the bubbles, but usually what I do is, like, I don't see any bubbles like in there right now, but more will still rise to the surface. That's normal with resin. So I'm probably gonna wait about 10 or 15 minutes and just come back and give it another quick torch on top, and hopefully then there will not be any bubbles in there. So that's the end of step 1. I will be back to show you what I do as the next step. It didn't come back soon enough, or while this was still soft, so it's hard now. So I'm just gonna kind of look and see where I want to put this. And I see I didn't quite get all the string off there. Okay, so it seems to fit nicely in there. So what I want to do is just put a tiny little bit of resin on there so that it's sitting in the resin rather than just putting it on the hard stuff. So I'm just gonna move this around a bit, and I'm gonna give it a zap with my heat gun. That's making it just a little bit easier to move around because it's quite a thick resin. It's the magic resin. So now I have a nice thin layer on the bottom. Okay. And now I'm going to put my Merry Christmas sign down. And it's a little high. I'm just going to move it down. There, I'm happy with that placement. And then I'm going to pour my resin over top. Just giving it a quick zap with the torch to get a few of those bubbles out. Okay. Alright, just looking to make sure it's all covered. I think it is. I'm just going to give it another zap with the heat gun. Okay, I see a couple things going on here. One is, I could see some bubbles on the sides here, so I'm going to go around with my little silicone, I call it a silicone pen, but I don't know what the actual name is. It seems to help for getting those bubbles off around the side. That's what it looks like. Okay, and I also saw a couple floaties in there, and I'm going to try and pop a couple bubbles. The bigger ones. Oh, and there's a cat here. Do you guys have animals in your house that you're constantly picking their hair out of your resin projects? Seems to be an ongoing thing for me. I just have to be really careful each time and try to make sure I get everything out. Okay. Now I'm gonna zap it with my torch. See some bubbles over here. I think they're just coming up from underneath. Come on. See, there's two right there. Oh, there we go. There. All right. So I'm just gonna let this sit for 5 minutes, give it another torch, and then in another 5 minutes later, I'll give it one last torch, and I will do the reveal tomorrow. I'm back for the reveal. So, one thing I noticed is I definitely could have put a tiny bit more top coat on there. I may still have to, because I can feel it underneath. I can feel it at the top. But anyhow, for now, let's just take this out, have a look and see. Okay. Wow, I really like it. I like that the red isn't like a totally opaque. It's got a bit of translucency to it. The edges I definitely will need to sand down a bit, but like I said, I'm going to put a little bit more of a top coat on there just because I can feel it. So I'm going to keep those edges to keep the resin in while I do that. And the back, that's the back. So you can't really see through it, and of course it would be backwards anyway, so it's definitely just to showcase from the front. And tell me what you guys think. This is a little bit bigger, this mold. I don't have a tape measure. I'm gonna guess 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 inches, but it's bigger than my other rounds that I have. Anyway, please hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.